We are Gibson and Fanny. We are students of A level from English career from Laica Loyola Faro University in El Carmen City. Our subject is professional ethics. The topics that we're going to talk about are what is ethics, what is the importance of professional ethics, further ethics information, applied ethics, APA styles, or most known like APA style. And the next topic is principles of the educator and so on. The objective of this tutorial is to facilitate information about the professional ethics and all that it involves.
Ethics, according to Stephen Potts, ethics is a set of standards of conduct that guide actions and decisions. It means that ethics is a set of principles that a person has to follow in life, not only professionally but with the family too.
Okay, Lisa. Why do you consider that a person acts without ethics?
There are some reasons because people act like that. In some cases, some people need for popularity. In the other hand, some people are ambitious and they want to be famous. Others even have a great desire of power and they want to get a good job. So that's a good reason because people act unethically.
Okay. I agree with you because I consider that ethics is a set or a group of principles or moral values because it tries to focus on directing the good and bad things, and you have to follow the right things. But how do you consider, like an ethical person or like an unethical person?
Well, I think it's difficult to answer because you can have your code of ethics for you. I have my code of ethics. I know what is wrong and what is right for me. But imagine if you work or you get a job and they have their own principles, their own code of ethics. And maybe those code of ethics are different with the way you think or with your code that you have. So I think you can never be totally ethical, totally ethical person. Some days ago, I listened to you talking about some philosophers, and you were talking about some theories they have about ethics. What can you tell me about that?
Yes, I did. So I was talking about some philosophers related to ethics, like Socrates, Aristotle, Epicurus, and some others. So I'm going to explain you something about Socrates' ethics. Socrates was one of the first Greek philosophers who encouraged both the scholars and the common citizens. To Socrates, the people must become aware of the context, and it means that people will naturally do what is good, and if they know what is right, they do it. Evil and bad actions are the results of the ignorance. That is the phrase that he considers.
According to that theory, what do you think? Is that true for you? Do you think what this philosopher said is right for you?
Well, I agree in a part. For example, here the phrase says the evil or the bad actions are the results of the ignorance. It depends on the cultures that you live, because for some people maybe it could be a normal situation that people can kill to others, but for our culture it is a terrible custom, and we don't agree with that. So if the actions that they consider, people who take into account the killing of people, they consider like a good or like a normal actions, but for us it's different, it's an horror, and I don't agree with that.
Yeah. Now that we know a little about general ethics, I understand that there are some different ethics for different fields. For example, do you know something about business ethics?
Yes, I know a little. Business ethics is related to the different principles and norms, rules that are applied in the business field. For example, in the organizations when they are making or doing their activities for purchasing or selling some products, goods, or services too. So the organizations have to apply different rules for the transactions have a good result. And in this way, at the end of the period, they can get a positive result according to the procedure that they had to do. Business ethics is related to the employees and to the employers, because they have to follow different rules to get all the objectives that the organization has.
It's interesting. Now, I heard about public ethics. What is it?
Well, about public ethics, I consider that it is related to the way, to the rules, to the judgment that people do about the political government and the different situations that it has. It's related to the government, institution of the government, and so on.
Now, I have a curiosity. Is there a kind of ethic for matching, something like matching ethics?
Yes, of course. The machine ethics is a reality, because for making a machine or any kind of apparatus, you have to follow different rules, different norms, different regulations for the people who are going to use these machines can be able to do in a better way, and they don't complain about this. That is what I consider about the machine. Currently, I have listened some students talking about the different documents and words that they have to send to their teachers. And they speak something about a program called Urku. But I don't know what does it mean. So I would like to know, what is Urku? Do you know something about it?
Of course, Urcon is a program that in this moment all the universities, most of the universities are working with that program. Urcon is owned by Brian Info AB, that's an organization with 25 years of experience and requirements of information. Urcon was born in 2000 and was developed for some teachers that they have the idea to set out to detect plagiarism, and they have the idea to protect or support pedagogical works.
Okay, and do you know how does it work?
Well, the universities, the teacher from the university that work with that program, they have an email, and that email is their name, so it's easier for students to look for them. The students have to send the work to Urcon, and they have to look for the email of the teachers into Urcon. After that, Urcon uses some sources to analyze your work. Sources like internet, some books, publications, and some things like that. After that, Urcon sends a report to your tutor, and finally your tutor decides if your work has been plagiarized or not.
Okay, and do you know something about some colors that they say, or they are related to some colors.
Yeah. You have heard about the colors. Well, it works with a percentage. If your word have a 0% of brightness, the color is going to be green. In the case of about 50% of brightness, the color is yellow. And if your color is black in your word, that's terrible because you have got a 100% of players.
If I have that percentage, for example, 100%, is my work valid or is
Of course no. Of course no. And even you can get a problem with that because the university have the right to delay or to take you out from your career because of that.
Okay, that is clear now. And do you know what are the services that Urcon offers?
Urcon tries to detect binaries. Urcon tries to protect documents. Even the documents that you send to Urcon, once that your work is valid, Urcon is going to take your work for the future. Your work is going to be protected, and all people, or more people, some other students, they can't take your work.
That is an advantage about it.
Yes. Last week, I was doing a paperwork with my partners, but when we finished the work, our teacher said, you have to apply the APA style. So now we have Tani here to talk about APA. What is APA style, Tani?
Okay, first APA style means American Psychological Association. It is a set of principles, rules, and norms that are focused on doing a format of a document. So we have two different citations. The first one is direct citation, and the second one is indirect citation. The direct citation is related to when there are less than 40 words in a work. For example, if you want to write the same words that the author said in another work, you have to write it between quotation marks and write the last name of the author and the year of publication of the work. So you can write after that the analysis about this, or you can explain or paraphrase. That is your work. So the second situation that appears in direct citation is when there are more than 40 words. Like you have to explain, or you have to write the same words that another author says. You can write it on your work, but you have to write the name or the last name of the author at the end or at the beginning of the document or of the work, and the year of the publication. This is not going to be between quotation marks. You have to write in normal words. That it is not related to the quotation marks. But the second one is the indirect citation. It is related to the paraphrasing. For example, you have read some paragraphs about a document, and in this way maybe you can explain with your own words, but with similar words than the author. You can do it, but you have to cite the author and the year of publication of the author wrote in the last work or in another work. That is related to APA style. But at the end of all the document, you have to write bibliography. It includes all the reference and sources that you have used on your work. And you have to write the name of the author, the author's last name, the year of publication of the work, the title of the work, the city where it was published, and also
problem if, for example, in the first case, in the first kind of citation you said, I forget the quotation mark. So, is that a problem for me, for my work?
Of course, as if you forgot the quotation marks and the citation has exactly 40 words or maybe 30 words, your work is going to be like a plagiarism because it is not well cited. That is a problem for the work, and your teacher is going to detect that it is a plagiarism because you don't apply the apostille.
Does it happen the same when I forget the year of publication?
Of course, because if you can cite a scientific page, it's possible to write about or in addition of the name of the author and of the year of publication, you can add the page, the number of the page. But if you forget some of these situations, it's going to be a plagiarism too.
Yeah, and now about the biography, is there just one way to write a biography, or you have, for example, if I have a picture, an image, is it different? Are there different ways to write a biography?
If you create a picture, an image, you have to write that at the end of the picture that it is your own author. But if it is taken of another source, you have to write there, maybe inside or at the end of the picture, that it is about, for example, Ministry of Education or something like that. That is the pictures or some other sources that you can have on the work.
It's good to know that. Now I think I'm not going to make that mistake again.
Okay, Jitsi, can you say to me something about the ethical code?
Well, the ethical codes are laws, are regulations that, for example, one person has, or one business, or a professional has. As an example, in my life, I have my own laws. I follow my own rules. One of my rules is, for example, to get my job easily every day, to have a good relationship with my parents, with my friends, don't discuss. Those are rules that I follow in my life.
Okay. So, what can you say about the kinds of the ethical code? Maybe do you know something about the ethical of business?
Business, of course. Well, every business has to follow its own ethical codes. They are general. They are divided for sections of the business. Those are rules and regulations that some groups of the organization have to follow. And if they follow these rules, like to work really hard to gain a credibility of the people who is getting the service of the organization, they are going to fulfill the mission, vision that they have, like an organization.
And what about the objectives? The objectives of the organization, is it related to?
Of course, yes. If they follow all the rules and regulations, they are going to get the objective of the organization.
Okay, and is it the same ethical code of business than an ethical code of conduct?
No, it is related, but it's not the same.
And what is the difference?
Okay, in this case, the ethic or the codes are directed to individuals, to every person, to every employee. For example, in your organization or in the business you work, as employee you have to follow some rules, like you have to wear the same uniform every day, or you can't use other kind of clothes. You have to get along well with your parents, your partners, sorry, and you have to work well with responsibility for your work. And that's the difference, because on the other hand, for business, that's in general. That's to get a vision, but in general.
Okay, so the difference is code of business is general and code of conduct is individual.
Yeah, it's for individuals.
Yeah, and what about the code of professional or practice?
Well, this is different too. It is applied directly to some professions, occupations. As an example, I can say that the doctor have different codes of ethics that a teacher has. Yeah. The doctor, for example, they have a code of ethics in which they can't reveal information of the patients to other people. In the case of teacher, you have to be in constantly informating to or communication. You have to be in communication with parents, with the community, with the principal of the institution of your work to get a good education.
Okay. And the last point is the code of conduct of the educator. The principle number 1 is the code of conduct toward the students. The educator is the only one who is responsible about the problems, situations, and conditions in which the students are. For example, if a student has problems with the behavior, with the knowledge, with the learning that he or she has, the only one who is responsible is the teacher, is the educator. And as educator, you have to be able to solve all these kind of problems, and in as much as you can helping them, you can help them, to improve all these situations. The second principle is the code of conduct directed or toward to the performance. This is related to the way in which you teach, the way in which you apply your knowledge, you do your work. For example, when you are in a classroom, you have to be conscious that the knowledge that you are teaching to the students must be updated. And if it is not updated, you are making maybe an error like a performance. Some of the other situations that this principle considers is the responsibility and the duties that you have as professional educator, because you have to fulfill with plannings, with some evaluations, tests, and you have to feedback some of these situations for that your performance must be correct and you can have a very good performance.
The next code is the professional code that you have to, as an educator, have with your colleagues. In this part, I can say that, well, as an educator, you have to follow with your colleagues, you have to follow the same mission and vision of your institution, of the institution you work. So if you want to follow the same way, if you want to get the same goal, you have to work and have a good relationship with all the staff of your institution. You cannot reveal confidential information to other people, at least if the law doesn't require it. You can make false statements, like when you do this, you can cause something bad in the environment of your work, not interfere in the opinion of your partner. If your partner have an opinion about any topic, and you need to tell, maybe you have you want something, you need to tell your partner, hey, you have to think like me because this is like this, or you have to think like me because, well, this is good for us. You can't do that. That's the third principle. And the number 4 is about the educator with the community and the parents of the students. Well, in this principle, we talk about the communication that an educator have to have with parents. If the student have a problem, if students have problems in the institution, or maybe their behavior is not good or is excellent, but they have to keep communication with parents, to be friend with the parents, to tell what is happening with the students. In that way, we can get a better quality of education. A teacher has to be a model to follow, not only for students, but for parents and the community. So he has to be in permanent communication and relation with all the community in which he lives. Besides, a teacher or educator have to respect different values of students, different cultures. If you have students, for example, there are some religions, and sometimes there are some students that they say, well, for my religion I can't dance, and you're not going to say that the students, no, you have to dance. Well, as educators, we have to follow that code, and we have to respect all the cultures, religions, and way of thinking of every student. My friends, we were Tani and Gibson, and this was all for this tutorial video. I hope you to apply these codes of ethics to your life. So, see you next time. Bye.